Hello listeners, listening to 18 Minutes with Satyal and Silwal. I'm Satyal.
And I'm Silwal, and we're a weekly podcast from the Himalayas.
It's a Tuesday and it's 7:30. You know it's time for perspectives, conversations and stories.
Welcome to the 75th episode, and 74 episodes in. We've done so many things. A lot of times we are not even sure what we are doing, but Satya, we have been powering through, and it's been an amazing journey. Let's just clap ourselves for the wonderful work that we've been putting in, even though we're putting it too late these days. But yes, we've been doing that.
Remember last week, I had a few messages from some of our listeners. We hadn't uploaded till 8:30.
Wow.
So these kind of things happen. We had some technical difficulties. A friend was kind enough to chip in and help us with the uploading process, so we couldn't complain. So yeah, sometimes it happens, but I guess it's never too late to upload.
Good save there, good save.
Coming to this episode, and 74 episodes in, 75 episodes in, sometimes we run out of topics. As you can see, no real guests coming in. Views have gone down. Yet still, we're intending on doing a random episode where we would just talk about anything that comes to our mind. But then I just had this random idea. I wanted to talk about a topic which basically talks about how it would be like if you were to attend your own funeral.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just sharing this with Silwal, and he liked the idea, and I asked him if he wanted some time to gather his thoughts. But then our famous RJ was like, no, I don't need to think, I'm very good speaking impromptu. No, that's not what he said. What he said was, I've already thought about this when you were attending...
So one of my favorite things to do, if I am free, is the evening aarti at Pashupatinath. Okay. And if you've never been there, let me just paint a picture for you.
Please do, I haven't, so I need to...
Okay, alright, so the river छ नि मान्छे जलाउने river अनि त्यो माथिबाट पशुपतिबाट तल झर्ने एउटा stairs छ नि, right? So that's the stairs, that's where people are burned, like they're said goodbyes. I don't know how to euphemize people passing away. There's water, the river, and then on the other side of the river, at around 6 in winter and 7 in summer, what happens is there's a big puja going on Shiva. Mm-hmm. So by 6:30 there is like 70-80 people. The things are ready, with the pujaris and aartis and everything, and there's a big sing along where they pray to Shiva, and it's a very fun time that you'd be there. It's tranquilizing. It's amazing to just be there. Now I like to sit on the edge of that place where they do the aarti. Now if I sit on the edge, if I look forward, I see the Pashupatinath temple, and below I see a lot of sad things happening. Right. But I always imagine myself, and this might sound like philosophical, but if you've been there, you will realize one side of it is all about joy and life and everything. And once you cross the river, there is death waiting for you. Yes. So I always imagined, not necessarily what Satya was thinking, but more in terms of if now touch wood and touch everything that I know.
He's trying to find wood nearby.
I did find some. Now I usually thought, because there's a lot of different characters when there is death around, especially in that area, because it's fresh, it's everything is just happening. And I always imagine what kind of character would I be? Would I be the person who is running around trying to get things done for the मरिसकेकोलाई पूजा गर्नलाई हतार कि? Would I be running around trying to console other people, or would I be inconsolably crying somewhere in one of the places there? So I always imagine myself, how would I deal with that situation? Because so far it's not happened, but I just want to be ready for what might come, because never know what's going to happen. So when you said, what if your funeral looks like, now I can now jump to the other side of it, and I can be that observant and see how my parents and relatives and friends are there waiting for me.
So the scenario is you're already dead.
We talk about death a lot these days.
If you refer to the earlier episodes, the gatekeeper in heaven, that was when you were dead, but then you'd already entered heaven.
Yes. Now this is like a step before,
prior to being in the heaven. So this is where you're already dead, and now people have started to come together. and you can see what sort of people are coming in. Obviously, it'll be people you know, people you've probably impacted in your life, probably people that you couldn't really get along with well, but then they still showed up to show one last sign of respect. So let's just see it through your eyes, through Silwal's soul movie. He's already dead. So what would it be like? Let's start with the general environment first.
Now, I'd like to imagine myself being extremely famous, so that it's one of those moments in TVs that you saw during the Rawal massacre, where there were thousands and thousands of people, out there. And but being more realistic, I don't care about the number of people that are there, but I know if I'm unlucky enough, the first thing that I can remember is my parents being there, my immediate relatives being there, and they're running around. Some are trying to lift me off, because essentially I cannot move anymore. I would love to move and tell them I'm back, like Terminator.
The shit out of them.
But since I'm not moving, they're doing everything for me and everything. And right now, I cannot think of anyone other than my relatives, because as far as I know, when someone passes away, the most immediate effect that you can see is towards the relatives, where suddenly there's a lot of things that you cannot eat, a lot of things,
restrictions,
and
there.
Suddenly you'd want to console your family. So I see my family out there. I hope my cousin sisters, because I'm an only child, I hope my cousin sisters are not around, because I would not know how they would be reacting to their brother, cousin passing away. I see a person out there calling international calls, because some of my relatives are outside as well. So maybe there's a call being made outside,
right.
And I hope to God I see Satyal where it does not clash with his futsal plans. And he's like,
there's one time I couldn't attend his presentation. I had futsal because one of my friends was leaving, and he knows him too. He's been pouncing on me right after that. Dude, I'm going to attend your funeral. Don't worry.
So he's going to come there, and probably he's going to be like, oh shit.
No, I'll feel guilty. I'll be like, I couldn't be there when he was alive, so when he's dead,
might as well
just be there when he's lost.
Now, one thing this is very selfish of me, but one thing that I would really want at my funeral is, I was going to say at my wedding, which almost might be the same, but at my funeral, I would want to be around 6 p.m., 6:30, 7 p.m., so that there's that arati going on as well.
Wow.
I would not want my family members to just see me. I'd want something to distract them, perhaps. And I don't know, man. It's a very difficult thing where it's a sad thing where first you don't know the age that you're getting. You're dying. You're dying. Yeah. So you're getting married. I was like, sorry. Marriage and
He's
death.
hell-bent on getting married first. Let me have that first.
The last few weeks I've been meeting a lot of people who are getting married. So, okay. Anyways, coming back to it, I see, because I don't know what age I'm dying. So I would want to die after my parents, because I would not want them there. I would not know how they would react and everything. Hopefully, if I die old, I have my sons and daughters. Maybe they're taking after the last rituals that they have to do. But all in all, by context, it is a sad situation. I'd want to fast forward at least 2 days, and then go around where people know about, apart from the family starts knowing about the death of...
but let me hold you there. I know what you're getting yourself into, and we will get into that. But you talked about that scenario in Pashupati where your dead body is placed and your immediate family is there, right? But what about friends and maybe, because you're an educator, maybe there will have been some lives that you touched so deeply that when they know, I know it's difficult for them to know, because the family will be so much pressured into just communicating with the internal communication there. But still, how would that be like with, some of your friends or maybe the students that you've impacted would actually make a point to come there, including me?
I'm dragging Satyal down there, or else I'm haunting him for the rest of his life.
What do you have to say about that?
See, it would be wrong for me to expect anyone to be there in my funeral. a lot of times maybe I stop being nice to them after a while, or we've been far we're far and we're not in contact with anyone that I probably have presumed to touch their lives. But just because these students or friends or someone that I've touched lives with, I would not hold a grudge against them if they don't come to my funeral, because after all, I'm sure I will not be in control of the situation. I'll not see the situation. I'll already be dead, and I'll be somewhere else. So even if they come or if they don't come, I would not necessarily want that to happen. Now, funnily, I was thinking about donating my organs after I'm dead. So I had this wonderful conversation with a friend where I'm trying to sign this form where Tilganga Magari you can actually sign your give away your eyes. So I was thinking of a funny thing. What if the moment I'm dead, someone calls up and Tilganga comes in, and then there's two people who just run into my last body, and they're like, "Excuse me, can I take your eyes out?" And my family members are like, "What the fuck is wrong?" But I tried to make it more fun. I want it to be so that not a lot of people feel burdened by it, because it is a burden when someone dies, not just physically but mentally and everything. And I would not expect anyone to be there. I hope they're there. Right. That I hope I've made some good impacts, but I would not necessarily expect the people that I've touched lives.
Okay, so let me change the context a bit. Earlier, you're already dead. Yeah. Let's imagine that you are already anticipating death, probably 2-3 months down the line. And we know Murray was a big fan of actually talking about death and probably having his funeral planned and talked about before his death, because he wanted to see what people had to say to him before he died. And I thought that was a wonderful concept, because a lot of times we hesitate. We were just talking earlier about how we hesitate to talk to our parents and tell them how much they mean to us. So if you were to plan something like that, how would you want that to be?
No, so I'm a full-time educator, part-time asshole. So, so there are a lot of times and places where I've been an asshole to a lot of people. That probably if my memory serves me right, I would want to write everyone that I've personally touched lives with or had in contact with just a small letter as to what they mean to me and what they are in reality for me. I would essentially try to forgive everyone that have wronged me, and I would go beyond my measures to ask for forgiveness to a lot of people. Even if I have not done anything wrong, I would just be like, hey, I'm sorry if I've ever done anything wrong with you ever. Now that would essentially just mean that I'm trying to make peace with everyone. Yes, we have to make peace with ourselves, and it might not be possible to message everyone, but there's like Facebook and Insta, and probably we're going to come to an age where we just have to think about that person. But having said that, I think I would want to write small snippets of letters if I have that capacity, knowing that I'm dying. Just write them all and just be like, hey, it's been fun.
And would you want to read that aloud to them? Do you want them to be in person and for you to read it to them, or do you want it delivered to them where they are?
If I'm dying, it's like too much hectic work. I would be like, because I'd want to spend whatever moments that I have with the people that I'm really closest to. Okay. So writing them, like talking with them and talking about death and trying to ease them or show them that door towards death with me as a vessel, that would be an awesome thing. But not everyone that I can. Okay. I'd just send in personalized letters, emails, messages, and just hope that they forgive me for anything that I've wronged.
Okay, so now probably the last question, because you probably have to explain a little bit this one, is I want you to choose one family member and one close friend and one student that you've impacted. I would want you to imagine what sort of eulogy would they write for you. If they were to read something out into your dead body, what would they probably mention to the crowd that's there? I know that we don't do that in our culture, but I think it's something wonderful that they do in Western countries. So how would that be like?
A family member,
a close friend, and a student.
A student.
Who's probably there because you impacted their life.
Fuck. So
this could have been a full episode.
Yes, this could have been an entire. Like I could have done my homework and then thought about it.
Well, you are the smart answer. I don't need to prepare. So yes.
Now, well, thanks for putting me on the spot. It would be lovely if we could also have Satyal giving in his answers about his funeral and everything, but since we are pressed for time, it's just Silwal today, so a lot of you might just think about how.
No, that's all right, man. We want to hear your answers.
Now, a close family member, I think. I cannot imagine my parents being alive. It would be too hard on them. So I'd want to have one of my uncles, probably. Son uncle probably to be there, because more than my dad and my mom, I actually grew up with him, where त्यो बच्चा बेलामा from nursery भन्दा नि अलि nursery देखि probably class 2-3 सम्म I used to be with him, so we've grown along, and there's a special bond that right now, even though we don't meet every day, there's always there. So maybe he would have something like, okay, he did what he intended to do and he kept the family name proud. That's something that a close friend, fuck man, I will be dissing out so many people, but to be honest, I would like to talk to, or I'd like to hear this friend that I've not talked to in around 20 years maybe. So when I had this friend called Nabish, and he had a physical problem where it was impossible for him to move as easily as we could. And the funny thing is, we were like neighbors, but a bit far, you know. I've not talked to him in 15 years, and I've never made the effort to go and talk to him and everything. And I know that he has a problem where he's not physically able to move a lot. He is bedridden, he's everything. I just want to find that person out and see what his ideas were on Silwal, and just
I don't know what sort of dynamic you share, because it's been a long time, but
yes,
I would urge you to not wait till you die to hear from him.
Yes, this is the first thing that came to my mind, because I was like, if I like all the close friends that I have, everyone's gonna say something nice about me, but there's this one person that I know that they had a problem, and it's been 15 years that I have not talked to that person. Maybe it's it's high time that I make that effort with that person.
I hope this pod inspires you to do that. And because we're pressed for time, let me tweak it a bit and say, I know a lot of Silwal students from KSL listen to the pod. I would want a few of you to comment what you would probably say on the day he dies. So I don't want him to be answering this. I would want a lot of you guys to be commenting down below.
Thank you for saving my ass.
How was that?
That sounds better. If they don't message or comment, I'll know I have not impacted them anymore.
Alright, so we'll be back again next Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. And one last thing.
It's never too late to die.